G'day, it's Ryan the Lion from A Few Quiet Yarns, and with me today is Janine Morris, and we are sitting right up here in the Sky Cafe, or Sky City. We'll show you some views later. But for now, Janine, please, hi. If you would introduce yourself so we can meet the person. We'll talk about business and careers soon, but for now, if we could let the people meet you.
Johneen. Okay, I'm a mum of three what I think are reasonably good humans. I've managed to do that. I've raised my children mostly on my own for the last significant number of years.
Wow.
Very active in sports and certainly committed myself to a lot of sporting events with my children and managed to juggle a career amongst all of that as well.
Fantastic.
And in the recent years took up crazy running and marathons.
Well, I was just going to ask, aside from the kids, what about yourself? So crazy running, what's crazy running?
Crazy running is when you sign up for a half marathon and you've never run a kilometre in your life. Yeah.
I know that feeling. I haven't done it. So what is it like the first time?
It was painful and slow. And I thought if I do it once, I'll never do it again. And I did it once, and I've done it. But I found that running was an escape. It was almost like running away from your children, and having that peace and that kind of ability to just not think and just focus on you for a change. So that was a nice feeling.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't run for many years. I'm still getting over shin splints. But I used to love running for the exact same reason. You were just, every step was just another step away or another step towards one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. And my question, which everyone who hasn't done this will be thinking and wants to know, is what about the toenails? So when you do a marathon, is it a given that toenails are...
Yes, the toenails are destroyed forever. And I've managed to lose probably about half a dozen toenails in the process. And bruised toes and
Well, that's the thing I fear the most.
And many pairs of shoes.
The shoes are okay, the toenails are what I'm worried about. But
the investment isn't in Jimmy Choos anymore, it's in Asics and whatever I can run in. So.
Awesome, excellent. Well, thank you for that. Let's move on to the second question, which is what impact are you making? And let me caveat this with yesterday was International Women's Day.
Yeah.
You're a woman.
I am.
You have an amazing career.
Thank you.
So with that...
I have been incredibly fortunate, and I look at the celebration of International Women's Day and I think that's great, and I think where was that 20 years ago when I was juggling babies and working, but then I think back to my career and how incredibly fortunate I have been, because when I had my first baby I actually ended up starting back at work part-time when he was 8 weeks old, and I took him into the office with me. Now, there were no creches.
Wow.
There wasn't anything like that at my office.
Yeah.
They were happy for me to come in and start doing some hours. I'd bring him in, he'd sleep on my desk. We had a lovely personal assistant who used to take him for walks in the stroller. I was incredibly fortunate.
That is, because that's something I wouldn't expect back at that time.
No,
It's coming in now, but...
It's coming in now, but I look back and...
So you're a trailblazer?
I'm a trailblazer. No, I have to thank the people
team
I worked with.
Yeah.
They supported me, they wanted me there. It was actually a really wonderful thing to have back then, and it was the same for my second baby as well, so I dragged them both in.
Wow.
So I was really lucky, very lucky.
Well, as everyone's heard me say numerous times, my mum's in IT and I grew up around going to her university when she was studying comp sci, but I never went to her place of work. So your kids really grew up around IT, didn't they?
They did, and guess what? They don't want to work in IT. I think they've seen their mum too many times, sitting up late at night on calls. And they learnt to make cups of tea for me very early in the morning when they got up. They were great. So, look, I've juggled. I put my kids first. I've moved my career to actually, so I could be there for my kids. I wanted to be that parent that was involved in their activities, could make those school interviews, and would be there at home at night.
And just let me say that Janine is a rowing mum, so that's a 4 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, look, he's left
pretty
college
amazing
now, but there were many days I had 4 a.m. starts, and then I'd finish at 10:30 at night.
Wow.
For the last one, who was a water polo son, and so his training used to finish late at night, and then he'd get up and do it all again the next day. I wouldn't change a thing. You look at those times and you go, they were pretty special.
Yeah. And well, I made this comment in a previous interview that I think women are actually better performers than men, and I use the example of my mum, who sound just like yourself. So she works in IT, she had a full-time job, she ran the household, Dad at that time didn't do anything, and she was president of the softball club. So,
wow,
So, you know, you sort of think, and one of her favourite sayings is, if you want something done, ask a busy person. Yes. And she was always busy, but she always had time as well. Yeah. And I think that's one of the magic things. Yeah. You know, to be busy and to always have time.
It is, because you know, you go to those school assemblies and they're looking for you. They want to see you in the crowd. So that makes it worthwhile. But you know, I've made those choices, and I've career-wise, I've probably gone sideways and stepped those directions so that I could be there for my kids.
Yeah. And that's the choice that's there to be made. And I think it's, you know, if we look at some of the problems in the world, raising good humans is very important.
Yeah.
So I think that it's an amazingly important choice that you made.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Actually, I think they're good humans, and I quite like my humans.
Yeah.
So I quite like spending time with them too.
So what's the third one? If we've got rowing,
water polo. So the third one got into skiing. And I'm a terrible skier. I'm in awe of what she can do as she races down those slopes. So skiing, so it's many evenings at Snow Planet.
Oh, cool.
Which is actually quite nice, because I can have a glass of wine while I'm watching.
Mulled wine all year round.
The ski bunny, she's very much the ski bunny.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so very diverse sports they picked, but as long as they're active and involved in something.
That's the thing. Excellent. Well, moving on to our third question.
Yes.
With that, we'll say ka kite anō. We'll get a few views of a few shots of the view.
Yes,
and I'll splice those in. And thank you very much for having me here at the Sky Tower.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ka kite anō.